Hi there, and welcome to another episode here on Bustthenet. Yes, this is the show I like to call Gamechanger, a chance for me to delve into your safe, and we are looking at Swindon Town. This is a club managed by Dale, and he wants some advice. As you can see, they're doing quite well. They're third on the table, but expected to finish in the top half. I suspect they should be able to look at, pushing for a top four, maybe even a promotion spot. They haven't done. They're actually playing quite well. Dale isn't very far off. I mean, I've looked at your results. You want to come up with a home and away kind of a system. You've been playing that for a while. So, we've been looking. I took a look at some of your matches here against Grimsby. You played a 4-1-4-1 against a defensive 5-1-2-2. Now, whenever you see a 5 like that, don't think about it as any other system but a defensive system. So the objective is, if you want to beat that kind of a system, you can't let them out. So you can't play a counter-attacking game against them. You got to play an attacking game against them. So Swindon had possession on the flanks. You can see this Grimsby hardly had any possession to speak of. But when it came to their goal, let's look at the goal. It came off a counter-attack, right? So you were building play up in Dolo. Here at this point, the question is, what exactly happened here? Woolery had the ball, Noel, then he plays the Woolery, then Doughty. The ball goes out to touch, right? So then we've got Grimsby down with the ball. Davis plays the ball. Look at your back line. They've got four. They see this gap. Sometimes I get a bit concerned when I see this. This is too big a gap. You want to see it being closed down. And he goes, they play a long ball over the top, and it basically is a seeker missile. It goes, this guy gets behind your defensive line. So this is not a good sign. Generally it's a reflection of two things, right? So you look at the players now. Now what I'll normally do, I'll go into the game. This is not a good view. You need the sideline view at least. Yeah, so the sideline view, and then you're looking at the two defenders. As they play the ball, what I'm looking for is clues as to whether they were positioned okay, right? So here's tracking back has done. So first up, sometimes for some of the games, like, you might want to look at your defensive line and adjust accordingly. This was a 23rd minute. It's a high defense. It's too high. And you were not able, your boys just got caught over the top with the ball. Sometimes this, you can be playing for the whole game and you don't see it. Let's see if we got another highlight here. Sometimes you can be playing the whole game and it doesn't pop up, right? Let's look for an inclination here. So you're attacking the ball, your boys are going forward, defenders are there. That's actually the right place for them to stand. Right, so it's not too, if they're not in the opponent's half, you're not playing with a much higher defensive line. Noel gets the ball, so it's not that bad. He just, in this particular case, probably you were a bit unlucky, right? So we're just looking for different highlights at different times in the game. So here you're building play up. As the play goes up, you got two. This is the bit of a problem at the moment, but it's not, I won't say it's pretty bad. Your tactics are good. I mean, this team doesn't have phenomenal attributes, so we have to kind of expect certain things from them. So what could have caused this? Now, this Noel could be overlapping too much. That his mentality might be too high. This could be one of the reasons why it's so easy for you to get caught over the top. Then let's take a look at Wickham. You played at home. By all accounts, you should have had a decent game. Now, I'm looking at the teams. Now I'm going to look at shots. I tend to look at different things in the game, right? So we got Wickham. This is not good. If you're at home and Wickham got like a nice spread of chances in the box, and you had your own. You had a few block chances. Here we go. They are playing the game. We'll slow things down so we can see. So this is the first highlight. Let's just look at like key highlights in the game. Kickoff. Look to get set. Looks quite settled, and then there's a throw. Your boys are building play up. Okay, there's enough support here. Plays it out. That's not too bad. Brings the ball in. There's support for your attacks. Okay, this guy and this guy, they're close. Probably a playmaker. So looks like he's a playmaker. Plays it out. That takes a shot. Right, not going wide. That's probably an interest. That's probably down to width. So you may want to, if he's not getting out there, then you might want to adjust the width and play it a bit wider here. Play is built up. Guy goes up. Bilbo covering, and this guy is empty. Yeah, so this is poor defending inside the box, right? So everybody is gone missing. This is just very bad defending. It all starts from here. Ball goes to the top. All in the wrong place. All have to turn. The moment they have to turn, they lose their positions. Okay? 1-2 get lost. This guy is wondering where the hell do I stand, and this guy 4. So Rose, it's not didn't play too well this game. So your backline didn't really support. And let's take a look at Tranmere Rovers again. Tranmere not again was first time. Looking at Woodwork one time, block shots, shots again. You did a lot of soul searching in this game. You went banging the door, but 5 clear cut chances and you failed to score. We don't really need to see the highlights when it's something like this. What I normally will do is I come to players, shots. There's usually scoring chances, right? So you have 5 clear cut chances for Swindon. We go to chances, and we can see from here scoring chances for Swindon Town. You according to them, you have a few clear cut chances. Kyle Bennett had a few. So let's take a look at his clear cut chances. Noel, not too bad again. I like the spread in attack. This is definitely overlapping now. Looks very aggressive. Good goal. Typical 4-1-2-3 goal in the game. If you can get a player free, Kyle Bennett here, Wolfenden. This is 100% overlapping. Okay, and is that the same goal or now a different goal? Okay, so Kyle Bennett had 3 clear-cut chances in this game. Doherty plays it over the top. Kyle Bennett gets away, gets in there, misses. So Kyle Bennett wasn't bearing his chances in the game. So you were very unlucky. I mean, some of these, it's just unlucky. It's a question of getting a better play. Maybe slowing down tempo sometimes helps. So personally, yeah, a bit of a slower tempo sometimes can if you slow down tempo, sometimes it can affect the whole tactic. You know, your players might not get up in support. So if you're already creating those chances, the guy's getting into the box, you don't really need to change very much. Kyle Bennett just having an off day. In this particular case, you have to look at his attributes. Why did Kyle Bennett miss balance? Maybe he couldn't get the ball under control and took a shot. His finishing is poor, 7, so that's a big. Yep, he's not that good at finishing his chances. So he gets into great. So your tactic is good because you are getting players into good positions. It just so happens that he's landing at the feet of Kyle Bennett, who's struggling to score goals in that game. So in that particular match, if we look at the situation against, I think it was Tranmere again, where you have 5 clear-cut chances, and we look at player ratings, Kyle Bennett, he may have scored 1 goal, but he missed the bag loads of. He just missed so many other chances. The question has to be asked, what was he? In my book, I'll go like, if he had missed so many chances, what are we doing? Right. So once again, you look at the scoring chances that Kyle Bennett has. He's got 3 inside this, but he only converted 1 of them. Then we got this player. You brought on Keshi Anderson. This is pretty interesting. It's from a throw, and Woolery down. Oh, he should have buried that again. The great chance. You can also see how this chance do. This is definitely a counter. So looks like a deep attack. Doherty plays on with the top. Anderson breaks free, gets into the box. This is not really a clear-cut chance. I don't know why this is considered a clear-cut chance. It's a very difficult angle. So sometimes you got to look at the chances and go, maybe it's not too. Even if you look at these chances that Kyle Bennett had, this is like a very difficult angle. So if you reverse it to behind the goal, then we zoom out a bit. Noel gets the ball, plays it over the top. Now this, he scored, right? So it's a very good volley into the box. And the second one, We watched the highlight again. It's like he did the first one, but he failed the second one. You can see he tries a volley. So it's not a volley is not an easy shot. You gotta time it well. So technique is a problem for Kyle Bennett. His technique might be an issue. Technique is only 12. His finishing is not very good. So he gets himself into score. So your tactic is actually okay, right? You just have to think about how the hell do we stop the chances from the other side. So this is what you normally do. I go into the matches and I go, okay, fine. What can we do to enhance the system? So you got this. You got two systems. You got a counter and an attacking. Now, when you play the 4-1-2-3, you don't really. I mean, in my personal opinion, you don't really need two tactics. You just have to adjust the line of it. Maybe change a duty or a role. Make it a bit more punchy and attacking. In the final third. As far as getting players in support, now if you look at most of these highlights, you are getting players in support. Let's look at Leighton Orient, right? You played a 4-1. This is a game which is you're playing at home. Didn't create any clear-cut chances, which can be very disappointing. I mean, if it was me, I'd be pissed as hell. So what do you do when you're at home and you're not creating clear-cut chances? The first thing you got to ask yourself is how do you get those players up the pitch to work with your team? So here we've got the players playing. Sanders, no highlight there. This guy goes over the top with a free kick. Got a goal kick. This will be interesting. The player gets the ball. All right, he's off on his own. Bennett. Okay, we got 1, 2. He's got no support. He has to take it into the box, which isn't too bad because he's getting into a very dangerous position. So Bennett takes a shot. Yeah, he's driven to score. Anderson breaks it. There's plenty of support on the account, but this is AI triggered. Gets into the box. Yeah, not too bad. Most of the transitions look okay. Noel to Doherty. Yeah, this is a throw in. There you can see. If you have like a few support duties, they're bound to get into the box to support. This is just your flank being overrun because a player was out of position. So when did this happen? We have to look here, right? So this is from this is one of those really annoying situations, right? It starts from your own throw in. Okay, so you got players coming in, then you look at this. We'll go back even further now. Now let's come out of this and go to 2D. What's wrong with this picture? This is your own fault. This is a set piece routine. You gave them the chance to score. Now you got 2D. Let's look at this. Look at this picture. There's one defender. Now, if they lose the ball here, it's immediately a 2-on-1. So your set piece routines. Now, if you download a set piece, I hate downloading throw-in routines. There's no point, right? Whenever you have a throw-in routine, I honestly believe you should have at least 3 or 4 players back. Doesn't matter. If you want to capitalize on a throw-in, if you want to use the default ones, then use the default ones. But make sure you have got at least 2 or 3 players back defending. This is very bad because you only got 1, and then when you lose the ball, it's immediately a goal. And it's almost impossible for you to defend this. So this is definitely down to a poor throw-in routine. So if I now look at your tactics and I go to set pieces and I go to throw-ins, let's see the attack throw-ins. Do you see what on the left you got DR? He's going to be taking set pieces, right, on the right side. So he comes. You only got 2 players left. On the left, we've got only 2 players left. So this guy takes a set piece routine and he will, he will go forward. Now, if it were me and I'm doing like attack throw-in routines, sometimes I go, do I really need so many players up there? So I get 3 guys staying back, right? That, and in all honesty, that even looks like a bug because you had an instruction to have at least 2 players back, but you didn't. You only had 1. So there is definitely something wrong there. So I would definitely go into the game, and I would go like, okay, fine. If I see something like this happening in my game, I'll immediately go in and do this. I'll hold 1 player back. Now that's my nature. My nature is always to play with an extra man back for all routines, whether it's a free kick, a set piece, a throw in. You just have that extra player back. It helps you because sometimes game kind of kicks us in the ass. Really, it does. Okay, so I would definitely do that. Just tweak that routine. Okay, now let's take a look at your tactics. So you've got three tactics here. You told me not to look at one, so I'm going to ignore it. So you've got I guess this is your high press, and you've got a counter. Now, question is, do we need to play on attacking? Yes, we can. It's a bit more aggressive, but you're not needed. This is the reason why you're conceding those goals. Overlap left, overlap right, aggressive, wing back attack. You don't need this. This is an extremely aggressive setup. I mean, this is phenomenally aggressive. You got winger on attack, you got this guy on attack, and when they get forward, they go like, "Hey, see you later, man. We're never coming back." Plus, you got a much higher line of engagement. So, yeah, you guys are gonna be pressing up the top of the high up the pitch. You don't need all this. This is extremely aggressive. You don't need it. You just have to tweak it, right? We can play a standard. You can play at a higher line of engagement, right? Yeah. Defensive it can be a bit wide, so you can leave it like that. Now, what would I do? I'll just change these roles. Fullback on support because I got wing on attack, and then I'm just gonna play with a fullback on we can play with a fullback on attack here. And but here because we got a Mazala, there's no need to just play a fullback on support. Right? You can even play a wingback on support if you wanted. Okay, so you can play a wingback on support. This can be a bit more of an aggressive tactic. But here you could go with the overlap on the right flank, but I will leave the overlap on the left flank alone. Or better still, don't go with overlaps. There's one way of doing it. Slightly shorter tempo is passing. So this can be if you want to get him to support, because we noticed that there were turnarounds when the ball went to the back straight away. That was because of the overlap, because of the attack in the back. So that's something that you might want to think about. Other than that, there's nothing left to change, except maybe you might want to look at you've already got close down, more tackle harder. You're doing the high split block. This is fine. This is fine. Everything else is fine. So generally, I would just this allows you to attack. This guy is going to drop. This guy becomes a danger. Bennett is going to get into a lot of goal scoring positions. Now let's take a look at the second tactic. Second tactic, advance forward. Yeah, it can work, but this tactic can also be turned into that kind of a tactic. All you can do is pop the advance forward here, and you've got a counter attacking tactic again. So all you got to do then is just drop your line of engagement to standard, and you got yourself a counter attacking tactic, right? More or less, you can drop the mentality down to positive. So here, same principle. You got wingback on support. Yeah, you can support, counter, regroup, high defensive line. Lower line of engagement to draw teams in. Yeah, pass into space. You can play with direct passing. Basically, there is nothing here that is looking. There's nothing here that looks very odd, right? So this can be a counter attacking. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try something different. I'm going to not massively change the tactic. I'm going to maintain the flow. I just want to show you just how a few small tweaks can help. So I've played a few matches. We did okay against Newport. We beat them 2-1. Then we beat Arsenal under 23 3-1. We beat Forest Green, top of the table. Forest Green were taken down a peg by us. I think this was not bad. We beat them 1-0. Then Port Vale came with a strikerless system. I just had to go to your tactic and just change a few of the duties, and we did this as well. Beat them. And then Yeovil Town again. This time I used the counter version of the tactic which I've tweaked, and we beat them as well. But before we go and see the goals, let's talk about the tactics. Or rather, let's go and see the goals first. Okay, so here's the Forest Green match. If you look at the statistics of this match, we were using your more aggressive attacking tactic. And we spent a lot of time trying to break this team down. We actually did dominate a fair amount of possession in this game. And I think we scored through Kyle Bennett in the 21st minute. Wasn't too bad. And finally, Kyle Bennett scored a goal. I think this wasn't, I'm not sure. I don't think this was a bad goal, right? Vigoro to Wolfenden. Wolfenden went long. They cleared the ball, but we picked it up. Anderson then played it out to Woolery, the playmaker, driving to Bennett, and Bennett took 2 bites of the cherry, and we scored. Very direct, very nice. No issues there. Created plenty of chances in and around the box. Okay, second game. Port Vale, 2-1 win. This was a nightmare. Why? Because I had a team that didn't want to come out and play. So we had to change this guy into a complete wingback on attack, I think, at one point. And I had to turn this guy into a fullback on attack and go complete, don't change anything else. So we played the same way. We brought the game to the AI, and it became a match of set pieces for all the domination. At one point, the possession numbers were 90%. At a high 80%. Even I passed into space and everything else, we slowed down the tempo, but it all ended up being a case of a free kick show. So we managed to get past them with free kicks. Now, is it a is it would have been difficult, right? Either free kicks, or I was even considering try long shots at one point because the team wasn't moving. They hardly ever left their half. So everything we did, we had to jack it up a notch, and keep putting more and more pressure on them. In the end, they succumbed. Then we played Yeovil Town. Or Yeovil was a very nice game because your striker up here scored both the goals. So this wasn't bad. I was pretty happy with, I think, the first goal. The first goal was just sweet. I think it started from this position, and then Rose played the Woolry, then Doughty, then Conroy. I think we want to see this behind the goal now. So Conroy gets the ball, plays out to Doughty, then Rose, Doughty. They work the ball pretty well. Then it goes up. Anderson takes it down, brings it down and smashes it home. Beautiful goal. Then the second goal, they clear the lines, and then we launch a counter. Bennett brings the ball forward and then plays it over the top to Diagura, and this takes it down and scores our second. This was our away version of your tactic, right? I mean, I don't think you need an away and a home version. Both the tactics are equally good. I didn't really have to do very much to your tactics. Your tactics were pretty solid to begin with. I just tweaked it slightly. So here what I've done is your roles are almost the same except for these two. You had attack duties here, so all I did was just turn them to wingbacks on support. Now, if I take a goal lead against another team, I'll just turn them to fullbacks on support and keep the overlap. I played on a lower tempo because there was a team that was very defensive. So I wanted to jack up the mentality. So I played on shorter and I increased the tempo. But the thing is, we shot up to 90% possession. I had to pass into space, but eventually we managed to break them down. Standard defensive line, high line of engagement. This is a bit more of an attacking variant. So if I wanted to keep this tactic and turn it into a counter-attacking tactic, there's nothing to stop me from turning this guy into an AF. That's all I have to do. Maybe change tempo, but then you got to keep changing your tactics, right? So the second version of tactic is a bit more counter-attacking. So these are the shouts that I would use. Second version of the tactic, yes, this is a bit more counter. This role can change. I played with a complete wingback on support because I needed some width in the tactic, although it's not entirely necessary. Because against tougher teams, I turned this into a fullback on support. Against Port Vale, against in our last game, Yeovil Town, we actually played him as a fullback on support because Yeovil Town was considered to be a much tougher side to face. So we turned this guy into a fullback on support. So we played him like this. So now we play fullback on support. It's a very basic tactic. There's nothing to it. Very minimal shots, pass into space, be more expressive, standard slightly higher, fairly wide. Look, minimal use of TIs, regroup, counter, defend, narrow, use of side trap. That's it. And bang. It's the same players, almost the same positions, and we did okay. In this tactic, when I wanted to go searching for goals, I actually turned this guy into a DM on support. Against that team that refused to come out play strikerless, we actually played this guy as a DM on support. We turned this guy into a complete wingback on attack at one point and turned this guy into a wingback on attack at one point. We were literally flooding the box with players, hoping to break them down. We had so many chances, but they refused to leave the box. Even when I dropped the line of engagement, they wouldn't leave the box. So there's only so much you can do against a team that doesn't want to play football. But we did okay. So this is how I set your tactic up. As far as your training is concerned, I don't really have very much to say about it. I mean, you following the default training, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Maybe you want to include some set piece training leading up to big games. You could do that. I don't think you have done this, right? Let's just check. Defending free kicks, confirm. Yeah, you haven't. So this is really up to you. I'm going to change the way you play. If you think you don't want to bother with this, it's entirely up to you. Then as far as your mentoring is concerned, you haven't mentored anybody, so that's entirely up to you. It's your way of playing. Because personally speaking, if I'm trying to get my side promoted, I won't care about mentoring. It won't be in the team long enough to for me to bother. Even when it comes to training, I won't bother. I'll let the ask my manager because they won't be in the team long enough to make a difference. So I probably would have done the same thing. Yeah. So finances, you gotta watch your bottom line. Yeah. So your projections aren't very healthy. You gotta get promoted. You gotta get out. You gotta make sure you get promoted, and it's very likely that you will. The way you're playing, because right now, after I played those matches, you can see we've knocked Forest Green off. I mean, it's still top of the table, but we chipped away at their lead. So now the lead at the top of the table is only a point. So you definitely can play the system. Your tactics didn't need much changing. They were actually good to begin with. Anyone says Mazzala and Playmaker cannot combine, I'm sorry, I disagree. They combine brilliantly, in fact. So you get a Mazzala Playmaker, they are going to create havoc, because Mazzala is going to end up here sometimes. And sometimes your Doughty will end up here, the Woolery will end up here. So it's really impossible for people. I mean, if I was a real player playing this game, I wouldn't know how to mark Diagura, because Diagura keeps popping up in the weirdest of places. Right? He runs with the ball through the center, he plays short, simple passes. It's the only criticism I have of him. But other than that, the movement is what we were after. The movement on and off the ball gives your tactic that the unpredictability that we're after. I think in the next couple of seasons, you probably will start to ask yourself questions like, how do I get my team up? You're probably going to have to look for a better Mazzala. This Mazzala isn't good enough. Woolery is okay as a playmaker, but all these players, they might be good enough at League 2, but once you get to League 1, you're going to face a lot of issues. So you're probably going to have to build up your scouting knowledge. You got to go out there and look for players. Be prepared for it. And if you get any offers for these players, yeah, offload them. Swindon Town are doing really well though. Well, I hope you enjoyed this edition of Gamechanger. If you have any questions, please look me up on Twitter at Bustthenet or addicted2fm.com, my website. Once again, I want to thank all my patrons for their continued support of this channel, making this kind of shows possible for the rest of the community. You guys take care. Have a good one. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.